All right, rating my school years, part two, intermediate school and middle school. Okay, whatever. Anyway, let's do a quick recap. So, rest in pieces to the little bee who stung my ear on the first day of kindergarten. What a way to start one's K 12 education. All right. I become an IEP student in first grade, which I have a conspiracy theory as to what may or may not have been. And none of my classmates wanted to associate with me because I also wore champion sweaters back when it was not cool. Sorry, not sorry to all the posers, you can kiss it. Okay, I'm already getting ahead of myself here, so let's do a little disclaimer before I continue, shall we? To any and all persons who associate with any and all events mentioned in this craphole feature presentation, for all of which is completely coincidental, Face of Grace Productions sincerely apologizes for dragging your POS self 6 different ways to Sunday. We are already heavily indebted to all parties involved in the amount of pettiness, a dark sense of humor, and therapy for the horse shit we had to deal with from all parties involved. Please accept our sincere condolences for your feelings succumbing to their injuries. Sincerely, Face of Grace Productions, Full Offense Department of Go Suck It Management. Alright, that's enough to cover my ass with both hands, right? Probably not, but I'll continue on anyway. Alright, fourth grade, aka the start of intermediate school. Now, intermediate school marked what I would like to call my believer phase. Now, how exactly did my believer phase begin in the first place? Well, it began just shortly after my 10th birthday, circa October 2010, when my dad's sister gifted me Justin Bieber's My World 2.0 album. Now, Justin Bieber's My World 2.0 album contained classic hits such as Baby and Baby. Now, can I just say that upon listening to the album, I was already hooked. That's right. This prepubescent girl at the time becomes a Justin Bieber fan after her aunt gives her Justin Bieber's My World 2.0 album. All right. Now, was I constantly made fun of for being a believer all throughout intermediate school, including by a few different teachers? Well, the answer to that is yes. I mean, I'm just a girl who has a Irish twin, Catholic twin, whatever the fuck you want to call it, sister, who was always trying to purposely get herself into trouble. On the topic of siblings, that leads me to 5th grade, aka just the year after my baby brother was born, just during summer vacation, courtesy of my other younger brother who asked for him. Now, even though 4th grade absolutely sucked ass on virtue of still being an outcast, still being an IEP student, and constantly getting made fun of for being a believer, one of the best parts of the previous year was learning that in expecting our baby brother, that my other little brother would finally get off mine and my sister's case. Now, by the time 5th grade rolled around, I already had a plethora of Justin Bieber merch. I had a Justin Bieber poster in my bedroom, a set of Justin Bieber pajamas, and countless Justin Bieber t-shirts. All right. Oh, and I even got Justin Bieber's Never Say Never album. All right. See, even a poor farm kid can be a believer too. So to Sydney, Teresa, Ponzi, go ahead and do me a favor and go suck it with your Justin Bieber sings like a girl ass. Now, when all my siblings and I got sick when my mom went down to Texas for a few days when the whooping cough epidemic happened, I'm sure the three of them had a field day like, "Oh, hey, Sydney, it's Ponzi Teresa. Grace has been out of school for a few days. Shall we start the rumor that she had whooping cough? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Even if she is a believer, nobody will ever want to associate with her ever again. Surely that will cover up my inside ugliness with my 2 Botox injections. Let's do it." Look, I'm not saying I know that for sure, all right? All I can say is by the time I got back to school, there was this whole rumor going around that I had the whooping cough. So I would definitely not put it past those miserable lowlifes for starting the rumor that I had whooping cough. All right, moving on. All right, 6th grade, aka the last year of intermediate school, aka when shit gets pretty damn real, pretty damn quick. Now, my favorite part about 6th grade was when I got my first ever Jansport backpack. Let me tell you what, as somebody who has been poorer than dirt for pretty much her entire life, walking around with a Jansport backpack all year round made me feel fly as shit. Unfortunately, that fly-ass feeling does not stay for very long. You know why? Because I eventually start weaning off of my believer phase in 6th grade, and for that I can thank all my classmates for constantly shitting on me for being a believer. Oh, and it doesn't matter how much of a goody two-shoes you are, even if you have an Irish twin sister who always gets herself into trouble on purpose. It does not matter how kind you are. It does not matter how friendly you are. If you are not rich or popular or have had everything handed to you, much like, well, the people who very most likely started the rumor that I had the whooping cough, a teacher can and will unprovokingly break your ass in 6 different ways to Sunday at any given moment. All right, intermediate school can suck my ass overall, but 6th grade was especially complete dog shit, and not just because you can't have any more fun for the rest of your life after that. All right, moving on. All right, 7th grade, aka the start of middle school, aka the first out of only 2 years of middle school in my hometown. All right. All right, now in 7th grade, I was quite obnoxious, I'm not gonna lie. To be fair, I also had a lot going on in my life at the time. Now, there were occasions that I'd get kicked out of the classroom because I busted out in laughter during, say, silent reading, and I probably was laughing at something stupid or just nothing in particular at all. Now, prior to 7th grade, this was not a common occurrence with me at all. I mean, like I said, in my defense, I had a shit ton of things going on in my life, all right? All right, 8th grade. 8th grade was the point in time that I finally started taking dealing with bullies into my own hands. Can I trust the same teachers who would love to hand down the same punishments to me, an outcasted IEP student who just so happened to have been dirt poor her entire life, to their rich kid bully student friends? Well, that's probably not going to change after 7 years of my K-12 education. No. And yeah, I got in trouble. I got in trouble with the principal all the time. You know why? Because here in small town hillbilly hell, we have double standards around here. All right, I highly recommend middle school, especially if you are a young teenage girl who is the exact opposite of the rich kid teacher's pet. Now I'm about as impressed as y'all are that this cartoon managed to take me 200 years to get out there. But I can tell you right now that you definitely will want to stick around for the final chapter of the Rating My School Years miniseries. So feel free to stay tuned for Rating My School Years, Part 3, High School. Now, I may or may not have enjoyed high school at least somewhat better than the previous years of my K-12 education. Who's to say? But what I can say is, that is for me to know and for you to find out. The end.